Well, we'll try again. Ah, there we go. Somewhere I've got a drink round here. It's just water. I wish it was mead. So I'm Bragi, and today we are going to be replying to old comments. And I've got a few videos I need to edit as well. So we'll look for our next comment. Let's just see whether it showed up this time. There we go. So that's what I did wrong. I had it unlisted. So always have your live stream marked as public and not unlisted. There's a bit of glare, I'm afraid, from the sunshine on the TV monitor. And I'll try to slightly alter it for you. Perhaps zoom in a little bit. Hang on, bear with me. It's a bit weird seeing myself on camera as I do this. We'll look for the next comment I've not replied to, and I've just found one here. And it's by Mad Dog Ryan. That's a very cool name, Mad Dog Ryan. And he looks like has he got a guitar in his hand? I can't make out. 66 subscribers. So he says, Foo-hoo currently resonates with me the most. I use the runes mostly for divination and sigil casting, but specific runes show up in my dreams, and learning their meaning and how they apply to my life really does help figure stuff out. Currently, it is Foo-hoo and I was. It's a pity that Eggle's not here to reply to that, but I am actually trying to learn the runes a little bit more. I practiced rune casting quite a few years back, and Eggle did teach me, but I got out of practice. And one of the important things I wanted Eggle to do on the channel was do a series on the runes, which he did. Excellent series. One day I'm going to edit the whole lot together in one video for you guys, and I think that will also be very, very cool. But I do intend to cover the older Firth arc myself and give you my interpretation of what I think. So, cool comment. Just slightly move the tea around. I'm going to reply to that. Let's hope I spelled comment correctly, would hope. Now just basically put in very cool comment. I often see runes in everyday life. But I do often see, you know, I can't remember all the names of the runes. I'm terrible. I've got too much in my brain to remember everything. But you do see them if you look around. So. I'm just glad you enjoyed the video. A warm welcome to Northworthy. I don't always, because after a while you tend to forget who you're welcomed and who you're not welcomed. But I don't think I've seen Mad Dog Ryan before, and I do like to give people a welcome when I can. And again, another thing that I often do, we'll just go back to make sure I don't see anybody watching. We'll give it a thumb up or a like. Because I got my sound on silent, so that's good. So I often like my comment, and I often give it the heart. I try to every time. It's just to encourage you guys to like my comment, just to get more interaction. So on to the next comment. This is by AJ Carter, Eggle's nephew. So no doubt he's missing Uncle Eggle, or Uncle Simon. And he says, a big heart. I don't really do gods. If I met one, serious questions will be asked and probably a twatting administrated. I can do spring and enjoy the flowers. I suppose everyone walks their own path. They sure do, brother. We all walk a different path. And as long as you practice goodness and kindness, then it doesn't really matter to me. Because I think that's really all that counts in the world. It shouldn't matter what faith you have or faith you don't have, as long as you practice goodness and kindness, and you are in fact a decent human being. Because there's not enough of us these days. And we all have that ability to be a loving and kind spirit and human. So, yes, look for that. And just saying a few kind words to somebody really does make the day. So that's that comment replied to. I'm just going to nip back into here because I've finished with this video, and we're going to start a new timeline for the next video, which I'm going to select. I made a few videos today on cap cut, so we've got to edit some of these. I keep finding funny memes of Biden. We'll start with the first one here. I'm going to edit all of them in this session, but for the meantime we'll go back and look at the comments, and we'll just make sure anybody else watching yet. No one watching, just me. Hello. We don't do live streams very often, and this is a very unusual live stream, as I don't often appear on camera in my modern clothes. So we've got another comment I've not replied to, and it's by user ZB9PX4FG7F. And he says, beads and Madonia were mostly but not exclusively worn by women, which is fundamentally true, according to grave finds, showing off their husband's wealth, usually on an organic cord, leather. I like the fact that you and Eggle have a competition to try and outdo each other, though. Yeah, and we do. I mean, we have this competition where Eggle's got, I don't have any of the necklaces around me, but he's got all the beads on his necklace, so I made one a little bit bigger. I know Turkey has got one just the same, and it's a bit of a re-enactment. It's just to show off your wealth to a certain degree, but it's going excessively over the top, because the average man will be lucky to own one or two beads. A bead would be equivalent to, a good week or month's wages, depending on the colours and where they come from. So now I'll read it out in a minute what I'm going to reply. I don't know if you can see it on camera. That's definitely not how you spell competition, so I don't know why, I don't think I seem to have spell checker on at the moment. So I'm just going to go straight into GPT chat as a way to correct it and improve the comment. I'm not a brilliant typer, even though I did typing at school. There we go. Marvellous. It's certainly got its uses, does AI. You can definitely speak and write better English than me. And I just thought, what a fantastic comment, absolutely true, and we couldn't agree more. We had a blast with our Viking bead competition. We did, yeah. I was always more wealthy than Eggle though. Eggle was always poor, so I could afford more beads. And in fact, the other day, hang on, I'll give a recommendation to the Spellbound Bead Company, which is a shop in Uttoxeter. It's not Uttoxeter, it's a shop in Lichfield, and this is where I used to buy a lot of my beads. So at some point, I think I will try to travel down to the place where it's at and buy some more beads and give it a review. We'll go back to the editor. This is just another comedy take of Biden saying, "Do you see that sucker over there?" But I remember the other day that I got some video of Eggle in the White House, so I thought it would be quite funny to have that in the video. But it's a bit quiet, so we're going to have to increase the noise level. I mean, to be fair, if you put Eggle as the President of the United States of America, he would have got the shit sorted and he would have been far better than Biden. And probably Trump.
0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds.
We'll just extend the timeline because we've got a bit of a gap at the beginning. We don't need that in our lives. So we'll get rid of that.
You see that sucker over there? 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds.
We'll just get rid of that last bit because he kind of stutters a bit of a word. I'm surprised he's not fell over, to be fair.
1 second.
I suppose he's not getting a blowjob from somebody like Billy Clinton did. You wouldn't want to blow that to save your life, would you? Any woman wouldn't want to do that. Oh dear, that's very controversial. We'll check now, see if we've got any lot. Yeah, we're still under the camera. Sorry about the angle. I don't know if we could change it and go a bit more this way. And we've got 2 watching now. Oh, that's progress, that is. Progress. I'll say hi, I've got Sam Stapleton. And Sam is saying, for some reason, I'm still not getting notified for your live chat. Yeah, sometimes you can unsubscribe and subscribe again and click the notification bell, and that can correct that problem. But it seems to be a problem for a long time on YouTube. You kind of fear that they don't recommend the channel because they don't like the channel, but you know, I think they've got to like the channel. And if you ever want anything hand forged, I do recommend Sam Stapleton's channel, and he's a great forger and smithy. So if you want a nice sea axe or an axe, speak to that guy. He's from America. He'll do you a great deal. I'm sure you will, Sam. And if you ever want to send us anything to review on camera, then I'm happy to help. And I'm also, at some point, we'll have to chat. I'll recommend some other products you could make in the future as well, because a lot of manufacturers and traders, they just specialise in a certain amount of products when there's so many things you could make out there. And I've done a lot of research for that because I was going to get into that myself as a trader, but I kind of didn't go down that route. So we'll go back to President Biden again. We'll just go to the colour grade and give him a bit of a sharpen. It's about as sharp as he's going to ever get in his life. I mean, it's crazy having somebody that age. You know, just to think if a nuclear missile get launched in Russia, you know, in the first few seconds, or not even that, in the first few milliseconds, they get a warning saying, "Oh yeah, there's a rocket trail." So he's got 6 minutes. 6 minutes, guys, to decide whether to fire the missiles or not. Do you not think that's a bit crazy? I think it's crazy. And I swear where I live in Derby, we all get nuked because we have the home of Rolls-Royce. You know, Rolls-Royce is a big international industrial, you know, business. not only for the military side of things, but also for commercial. So I do think to myself, am I far enough away from Rolls Royce if it gets nuked that I'm going to survive it? This is a scary whole subject, and we don't really do politics on the channel. I ain't got time for politics.
See that sucker over there? 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds.
That would do, I think, for that. Let's have a look. See, it's a pity I didn't have Eggle highlighted in colour in this picture, because that would really make him stick out. But I didn't make that video. That was made by Iric, so it's well beyond my capability. I've noticed one thing. I've got to stretch it out a little bit here. So there we go. And go back into colour grading. I mean, literally, you can spend half an hour or an hour or 2 hours on 20 seconds of video if you go too much in depth into what you're doing. And of course, your eyes will be different to my eyes. That's not too bad. It's not too bright. So apply that one. We'll just go back in here. I'm multitasking as always.
0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds.
I think originally he was referring to a Ford truck, I think, in this video. And the only reason why I'm doing this video again and using Biden is because I always got the principle from, have you ever heard of a guy called Hal Roach, who was the producer and director of a lot of the Laurel and Hardy movies? He always stated that if you've got a good idea, use it and use it and use it again. So we'll deliver that and come up with some clever title at some point in the future. Able for president. I will give him a vote straight away. And I've got some food prepared. I've got some cake here. It's the birds today. I've got 2 donuts and 2 ice buns. Oh, luxury. The cost of living ain't affecting me today. I do have a funny eating habit. I can go days without eating, especially when I'm busy and I don't have time to eat. And I've trained myself to do that. So we got some more comments here. So yeah, Sam Stapleton says, yeah, it's weird. I get notified for all the other ones, but not the last chat. And just thank you for the kind words. Love to get together with you so we can make something. We'll do that, definitely. Me and my girlfriend want to travel to a lot of places, and she wants to get involved in the channel, which is going to be the kind of the next stage of the channel. So yeah, we'll definitely, and I'll bring you a few tools and a few hammers. Hey, so I got plenty. Yeah, and it says, love your Biden videos. Yeah, I mean, it's topical, and it's, whilst he's around as president, it will bounce people off the channel. And it also shows that we don't, although a lot of the content we do is quite academic to a certain degree, because we do go in depth into some of the subjects. I'm not academically trained. I'm the only one on the channel who's not got a degree. I mean, Eggle had a degree, Masters of Arts in Archaeology. Tirki has a degree in English literature, studying and specialising in Anglo-Saxon and Viking poetry and prose. And I think Neil has a degree in art, so I'm the only one not educated. And some days it does feel like, know, but we try not to be too serious. So this is just showing our funny sense of humour, and it certainly helps with humour. I would have gone mad by now. So another comment from Inheritor of Hill, Laurel. Been loving your work recently, Bragi. Well, thank you very much. It really does encourage me to make more videos when I see comments like that, because at times you do get very disheartened with the whole process of making content, because you put videos out and you see to yourself, oh, you're not getting monetized, or you're not having the same views you think you should do. So it can be very disheartening at times. We'll just click live so I can see live. So Sam says, if you're ever in Texas, let me know. You've got a place to stay. Well, thank you very much. I've never been to Texas. I know you've got to pronounce it with a big T. I always do. I've always, when I used to be an American Civil War reenactor, I used to hang out with the 4th Texas Regiment, because those guys were a right laugh. And I was with the 14th Brooklyn. Let me just see if we can find a picture. And the regiment I was with and ran, I got to go to my pictures, my reenactment pictures. Let's have a look. Here we go, Cusworth. So you see the regiment I was in. We're a Chasseur light infantry regiment from New York, and we really loved our history, and we loved doing what we did as a hobby. And a lot of the guys I did it with are no longer around and passed away, like Dave and Smokey. And, we did it all over the world. I mean, just see some of these pictures. Look, this is 1997. They'll be a bit blurry. Cameras in those days weren't brilliant. So this is how I started off reenacting the American Civil War. And then we used to have these mixed battles where at the end of the day, every period got together and we just had one big battle together. So you'd be fighting Romans and medieval warriors and men in armour and Vikings and Zulus and you name it. They was in the battlefield, and we had, you even got half tracks. So that's just some of the pictures. Romans. If you've never seen Romans get their armour on, it's like a factory. They go in one at a time and they all get armoured up like a factory. It's amazing. There's one guy putting the helmet on, another guy putting the chainmail on, and it's all like a conveyor belt. Can't say that word then. And this is the golden age of reenacting. It really was in those days. Well, look, there's Joey, always smiling. And the amount of times I've ridden, on tanks. But that's just a few of the pictures from my reenactment past. So we'll go back to this. We've done that one. We'll create another timeline. I'm using DaVinci Resolve. That's what I edit on. It's by far one of the best free editors you can get, really, I think. I'd love to try Adobe as well, but I can't really afford to pay money each month for an editor when I can get one for free. So we'll have a look at the next video. This is going to be another Biden one, but slightly different in the way he looks. There's a multitasking. It's the same video again. It's just a different angle. I'm playing around. We'll just cut some of the beginning out. I don't need those couple of milliseconds. And there's a bit at the end I don't need. Then we're going to do another little trick here. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. I wonder if it looks better if I flick it around. Yeah, but no. We'll speed them up by about 10%, and that might make Biden a little bit better. It's the fastest ever moved in recent times. I mean, I'm not a fan of, you know, I'm neither a fan of Biden nor a fan of Biden. I'm like that with him, you know. I'm not American, so I don't fundamentally understand the politics, and I don't really do politics. I don't have time for it. It's too, you know, life is too precious. So, we've got to increase the sound level. If one day we'll do a video and we're going to get like 1 million views on one. That's what I'm kind of waiting for and kind of hoping will happen. It's just a matter of keep trying.
0 to 64.1.
I think we can go a bit faster with them. We'll speed them up to 26% faster.
0 to 64.1 seconds.
But when you do speed up, it always drags the end of the video you cut. So I've got to cut that again, and then I'll deliver that. We'll just put number 2. It'll give me another option for the future. So I'll publish some of these around about November time during the hype of the election. I'm kind of hoping Trump will get into a certain degree, even though a lot of people don't like Trump, but he seems to do what he says. And I think it's a bit difficult. I don't think you can measure Trump as the man and Trump as the president. I think they're two different people to a certain degree, even though they are the same person. And I'm just hoping that Trump is anti-elitist, because let's face it, you know, Biden is a part of the club, isn't he? You know, we're not members of that club, but he is. But I'm kind of hoping that Trump isn't a member of that club and is a bit of a rebel. But then again, I think to myself some days that, you know, is he just a part of that club, and it's just, you know, it's just a lesser of two evils.
0 to 64.1 seconds.
But making it faster also changes the video, so I don't get the same video twice on the channel, so it looks like I'm duplicating. So, yeah, we'll make sure I've delivered that. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, cancel that. I'm going to edit. Start another timeline. It's just easier than if I could just get rid of that video and delete it and start again. But if I want to go back to it, it's in my timeline. So we'll find the next video now. You just get, oh look, this is a Family Guy video. Now Eggle loved Family Guy, and he was really good at doing impersonations. He really was. I can't impersonate anybody apart from myself, and maybe Scottish people. So we'll just go back and have a look at the live stream. So we've got a few more comments. And Sam says, "You seem like a very educated man to me." Well, yeah, I mean, I'm well read to a certain degree. Although I didn't do very well at school because I didn't speak till I was about 4.5, 5. I've got what you call Einstein syndrome. It's in the UK and England, we don't recognise that. I'm going through the process at the moment of being diagnosed with ADHD, because I definitely got some of that. I mean, I don't have a brain like most people, but yeah, I mean, I've probably forgotten more than what I've read, to be fair. You know, I've been thinking a while about doing an American Civil War based channel, but I'm a bit nervous about doing that because I don't want to get things wrong, and I do get things wrong now and again. But yeah. So, inheritor of Hill Lowell says, "Used to live down in Texas, a little north of Austin." That's cool. And Sam says, "Up top of the panhandle of Florida." And inheritor says, "I would like to learn how you guys get introduced to the Civil War, assuming are back across the pond." Well, yes, I'm right in the smack of England in Derby. So look, I can show you some of Derby. And the story of how I got into reenacting was, I was about 17 at the time, and I was into wargaming, which I still am. And me and my friend Sean Devereux, and his great granddad was Colonel Devereux in the English Civil War, because he still has his sword from that war, which is really amazing. And Sean was a very small chap and very ginger, so and in Norse mythology, ginger and redhead people are very lucky. So me and Sean went to trying to find some pictures of Derby, but all I'm seeing at the moment is Derby Hospital. Let's get rid of that because I was looking at that earlier. Show you a bit of Derby. So this is where I come from. You probably won't see it too clearly. You've got Derby Cathedral. Of course, you've got Derby's silk mill, which is one of the first industrial factories in the whole world. So we're famous for that, and we're also famous for being the most haunted city in Derby. And I am actually building up on a series of telling all the ghost stories of Derby. And of course, Derby's also famous for somebody called Richard Felix, who I do know I met a few times, who really has a lot of knowledge on ghosts. So that's another thing I'm going to cover in the future. So me and Sean were 17 and we went to Sheffield, which is a city about 30-40 miles up north, a big industrial city in a big valley, famous for its steel. If you've never heard of Sheffield steel, you've not lived. Wonderful knives. And at the time there was some American Civil War reenactors. And we got talking to them. We got talking to a guy called Huggy Bear, his nickname was, and he brought us a beer. And then we kind of signed up, we kind of agreed to go along, you know. We both thought it would be a cool thing to get into. So the very next weekend, I got on a train and I went to a place called Rochdale, which is in Yorkshire. It's a bit of a rough place. And, you know, they gave us, it was a training weekend. I met two people called Linda and Jeff, who have been my very good friends from that day on. And this was 30 years ago. And you know, we went along and have a go at Civil War reenacting, and we both liked it. And then, like 2 weeks later, they had an event in Rochdale, so I got on another train and went to that event, which is when I first met my very old friend called Smokey, who's passed away. And we got into the hobby of American War Civil reenacting. First of all, I was in the 19th Indiana, which were famous, the Black Hats Brigade, the Iron Brigade. And then I got kicked out of them because I didn't get out for drill one day, and then ended up in the 69th Irish. And then I fell out with my old sergeant, and from day one I hung about with the 14th Brooklyn because they took me to the pub on the first event. So that's how I got into Civil War reenacting. And then I did a bit of research from Derby, and I read a lot of the old papers from that period. And so when General Lee signed his peace treaty at Appomattox, you go on the veranda outside the building and there was a man from my own town of Derby on guard, a Union man, because he came back in the 1870s and he wrote about it, his experience of the Civil War and how he survived. And I thought to myself, well, that's amazing. That kind of shows you how local it was, because a lot of English men went and fought in that war. A lot of Irish and Scottish men and French and Italians. I mean, there was even a Chinese regiment which they sent to China to raise money for the Union. So, yeah, and then I researched my local regiment and I found that within the local area there was a man from Leicester and a man from Nottingham in my own company, and I thought that was amazing. So I often describe it as more of a European war to a certain degree, because a lot of European men, and certainly some women as well who dressed as men, you know, fought in that war. So it wasn't purely American. We had a lot of influence. And my government were backing both sides. They were sending muskets to the Union and they were sending muskets to the South. And of course, people like in Manchester went on strike. They wouldn't use Confederate cotton, so that affected the cotton trade. In fact, you'll find quite a few statues of Abraham Lincoln in Liverpool. There's one in Liverpool, there's one in Manchester, all because of the connections of the Civil War. So it's more local to my history than you think. And certainly, if you go around enough churchyards, you will find gravestones of Civil War veterans who fought in the Civil War and came back and died in Britain. So I find that to be fascinating. So that kind of explains that fact on that part of my life, which at some point I do hope to get back to, because I do miss doing that war and I do have a lot of kit. So I hope that's answered that for you. Inheritor of Hill Lowell. And then Sam Stapleton says, trust me, nobody in America likes that either. I can't say that word. And Inheritor of Hill Lowell says, but better than being turned into slaves and extinction. Well, yes, definitely. Although I often do think that we're all slaves by consent in the modern world, to a certain degree. And we shouldn't really put up with it anymore. And the corruption in the world, we shouldn't be putting up with that. And the 1% who are lining their pockets whilst the rest of us have nothing. So we'll go back. We've got look at some more comments I've got to reply to. So we've got a comment here from AJ Carter. That's Eggle's nephew. And he says, love GB, a big smiley face. Hey up, nice kit. Not for fighting in, obviously, but remember, most accidents occur within half a league from home. It contravenes one of the earliest health and safety acts regarding rotating objects, e.g. a spit. You don't want to get ravelled up on the Sunday roast. Stay groovy. And I'm just going to put, I certainly will stay groovy. If I can spell it right. And how are you liking this idea of a live stream? I've always kind of wanted to demonstrate editing to a certain degree. I know some people do that. But if this is something you want to see a little bit more often, then perhaps we could do it. Now we've got a comment here from Brad, who's a regular commenter on the channel. That's Brad5671, and he says the silver hammer, the silver hammer you can wear with your normal clothes. Well, I do, as you can see, I always wear a Thor's hammer, but the beads look good against chainmail. The silver ones, it's hard to see very nice. It is when you got chainmail when you're wearing silver, it can merge in. I reckon if they are warriors beads, you can get from the dead enemies on raids. Well, probably so, yes. So let's face it, if you just killed a load of Saxons, you're going to have a look in their pouches and take the boots, aren't you? If they've got better boots than you have. So I'm just going to put another cool comment. Brad always tried to mention people's names, so it's courtesy. And I'll put something like Arda. I'd certainly be looking in dead Saxons' pouches. For beads and bling, because let's face it, the Vikings love their bling. I did mention, I did do a live stream before this, but I had it unlisted, so I will publish that. But I did mention this company here that I used to get beads from, and it's called the Spellbound Bead Company, and they're based in Lichfield. So if you type in the Spellbound Bead Company, in fact I'll put it in the chat, you might be able to pick up some nice Viking and Anglo-Saxon beads if you're ever looking for beads. Because let's face it, it's hard to get good, decent beads of glass these days. So yeah, just read some more of your comments. So Inheritor says, I never hear enough about the heavy influence of you all throughout our conflict. Well, no, it's a shame really that we don't. It's probably more so in America. You don't really hear about the European connections, but certainly when we went to America. I took part in 2 battles. I took part in '99 in the Battle of Chattanooga. I think it was the 136th anniversary. And then 2 years later, we went back again and we took part in the 138th battle reenactment celebration of Gettysburg. But certainly the Americans and the Yanks loved us British being there, and we got treated so wonderfully. I mean, free beer and everything, and we love our beer. And we always outdrink everybody because beer is our national hobby in the UK. You know, it's one thing we're very good at is drinking beer. And it's good to get that, you know, I think Inheritor says, wonderful that you take care of your personal and historical perspective participating in re-enactment. Well, it's very important, that side of things, and re-enactment as well. So, yes. So we'll go back. I'm editing. Got to think about a video at 7 o'clock. I'm trying to get a few more videos out. I mean, I don't know, some days do I publish too many videos, because I think there's a limit on how many notifications they give out a day. Whether that's a myth, I don't know. But I'd love to actually know that for real. And it's a bit weird seeing myself on camera. Look at the mess I've got to tidy up. My girlfriend will be going mad. Of course, and where we are, it used to be our filming studio. So if you go back a year ago or 2 years, you'd have me and Eggle sit here, right in front of this, you know, we'd have all the background screens and the cloth hanging down. So this used to be our film studio. It's now my girlfriend and my bedroom, and we've converted the downstairs, one of the downstairs rooms into a studio, because it's just going to make it so much easier when I want to go and step outside and go back indoors again for filming. We'll just click the live and make sure we're live and up to date. So I'm trying to do 10 million things at once here. It's often the way. So let's look at this video.
You didn't look at the man who was talking to you? I did. Okay.
Alright, first thing we've got to do is drag it down. And I'll just drag it across a little bit so there's no gaps.
What a description? Yeah, he was probably around 5.
It's a little bit loud. We'll see on the fair light, it's redlining. I mean, I wish I knew how to actually use this software more efficiently, because there's so much you can do on here. I mean, I never touch Fusion. I've no idea what that does really. I don't do a lot in colour, which I probably should do, because I'm not a trained editor. I've never been to college to study filmography. I did photography at school, so that was my best subject, which gives me a bit of an advantage. But I've been thinking about doing a degree in filmography in the next few years, maybe.
He may have had two. He may have had a tattoo. Did have a tattoo? Which one was it? I don't know. It all happened so fast. You know what? It's fine. I haven't.
So what's happening in this video? Peter Griffin is talking to a witness about someone. He's been beat up. He's got a black eye. So Peter Griffin is like doing a drawing of the person that's beat this guy up. And then you will see in a minute. Let me just see if we can. Let's make it a bit bigger for you. I've got to go back to edit. We'll just bear with me. We'll drag this down. Then you see I've got a picture of Eggle.
Yeah, you didn't look at the man who was talking to you? I did.
Right, let's go back to the beginning. You always get a bit of a gap where there's nothing at the beginning going on, so we'll get rid of that.
Look at the man who was talking to you? I did. Okay, can I get a description? Yeah, he was probably around 5'9", 5'10".
Let's just see what it looks like if I flip it over.
Identifying characteristics.
I think that's better.
He may have had a tattoo. May have had a tattoo? Did have a tattoo? Which one was it? I don't know. It all happened so fast. You know what? It's fine.
Right, just drag the sound down then. So I'm opening iTunes. I might put some music to this. We're going to go with Tribal War Council, I think. That's from the YouTube library, so it's Creative Commons and you can use it in your videos. There's not enough medieval sounding music on YouTube. It's just going to give it that bit of atmosphere. We'll just click home. No, yeah, there we go. Whether that be the right one, we don't know. Right, we're going to go back into the timeline. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work on this one, so we'll get rid of that. Sandcastles is not bad. It's happy and cheerful, and we need a bit of that some days. We'll click home, so that's the very beginning. Because it's not easy getting the sound level of your music, and a lot of people make this mistake on YouTube. They put music to the videos. I've done this too many times, and your music is too loud. And of course, some people, like Martin from Belfast, doesn't like music on the videos. So a lot of the videos are purposely edited without music for Martin specifically because he doesn't like music. But then again, I think to myself, well, I'm limiting my availability of music for one person, and perhaps I shouldn't do that. But we like Martin, and if you're not subscribed to Martin's channel, Sam, I do recommend going checking out Martin the Belfast Viking. He doesn't talk in his videos, but he does have some very nice Viking-related kit videos about swords and showing off some of his nice bits and collections he uses on camp.
How about identifying characteristics? Any marks? You may have had a tattoo. You may have had a tattoo. Did have a tattoo?
Alright, we're just going to drag this up. We're just going to have that a little bit low. Let's go back to the beginning. Bear with me. There's always a gap at the beginning of songs where there's nothing going on, so just going to get rid of that, drag it along like that.
Did you get a look at the man who was talking to you? I did. Okay, can I get this?
It's still a bit too loud, so drag the audio down.
Yeah, he was probably around 5'9", 5'10".
Now, Eggle was a massive fan of Family Guy and American Dad, so he would definitely approve of this.
Did you get a look at the man who was talking to you? I did. Okay, can I get a description? Yeah, he was probably around 5'9", 5'10". How about identifying characteristics? Any marks? You may have had a tattoo.
Alright, we'll just go to the end. Don't need that last bit. No, we can get rid of that. Some days just cutting out these little bits at the end can make a difference.
Did you get a look at the man who was...
I think we're just going to drag it down slightly more so they're both big in the picture.
Can I get a description? Yeah, he was probably around 5'9", 5'10". How about identifying characteristics? Any marks? You may have had a tattoo. I don't know. It all happens so fast. You know what? It's fine. I have a preliminary sketch here. Is this the man who was talking to you?
I'll get rid of that, we'll get rid of this, and then we can deliver this video. Got no idea what I'm going to call this video yet. I'm going to start with Peter Griffin. Certainly that's got to be at the beginning of the title. We're going to go to ChatGPT and get some more options. Oh, I'd just like to wish you all a great happy Eggle-Thorson Day. If you don't know what Eggle-Thorson Day is, it's the day when we remember our late host who passed away last year on the 3rd of July, and is very much missed on the channel. And at one point I thought to myself, well, should the channel actually die with Eggle and that's it, and we make no more videos? But I've still got 2,000 videos in my short folder to edit, and probably 200-300 videos of long format we filmed together. So we're going to carry it on. So the idea of Eggle-Thorson Day is just a day that we can remember Eggle. For Vikings, legacy is very important, and I know me and Eggle did talk about, you know, what would happen if you passed away, Eggle. What should I do if you want me to carry on the channel? And he said, yes, that's very important to me. He said, you know, you must carry on the channel, Andy. That's my real name, because you know we've spent all this time on the videos, and so that's why we have this day. It's on the 9th because I kind of debated about the day. I thought, well, do we celebrate it on the day he died, the 3rd? I thought that's a bit morbid. So 9 is a magical number to the North, so that makes sense. And so I'll just say if he's up there and he's having a good time and he approves of what we're doing to keep his legacy going. And I kind of figured to myself that I think that I can carry on with new videos from Eggle for the next 10 years if I do one new video a month. That's long format. I'm not talking about short format because I've got tons and tons of them I can put out, and you do see them. So that is what Eggle Day. It's a day to remember our late and great host. And he would actually love that. So. Right, we'll render that. Bear with me, we've got to go back to see the chat. Oh, we've got a comment from Aaron Kelly. Hello, Aaron. How are you, my friend? Hope you're keeping well. What have you been up to? So I've got another comment here from Inheritor of Hill Laurel. I'm looking to get into early American colonial reenactment pre-revolution and into the early struggle to cut away. Yes, I think reenacting the French Indian Wars would be fascinating, and then also the 7 Years' Wars. I think out of those two, I'd probably do the French Indian Wars, but also reenacting the very early stage of American history would also be fascinating. And definitely, if I was doing the Revolutionary War, I wouldn't be British. I would be American, because I think what you stood for and what you fought for, and God knows how us British lost that war, but we shouldn't have done. I mean, it's crazy how we lost it. I mean, just rubbish generals, But yeah, and when I did wargaming, that's one of my areas I specialised in. So I do have a large collection in 28mm, and at some point we're going to incorporate wargaming into the channel. And another channel you should go and check out is Eggles. I'll write it in. Wait a minute. Give me a second. Because Thomas Dale, one of my friends from Derby, has created a channel. I can't seem to get into the comments. Let's have a look. Let's just click this. Is this doing it? There we go. No. I don't know why you're not being. Do you want to be made a administrator and have the blue spanner, Aaron? Of course, if you don't want the blue spanner, then let me know. But you've been awarded the blue spanner because you've been around for a while, and that's good. And we do need moderators on the channel. So, and for some reason, I can't seem to say hello. But Tom's got a channel called Eggles Mustache Gaming. So he's making gaming content. It's kind of his way of paying respect to Eggle, and I really love that. I think he's featured in our channels we like. So yeah, here we go. Well, I can never spell mustache right. But if we ever go to Lichfield, it's famous for having a church with a crooked spire, I think. No, that's Macclesfield. Lichfield is famous for having a really, really nice